how's it going? I'm wanting to do a video on talking to trees. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that's like, oh, that's some craziness, what you talking about, talking to trees and things of that sort. For me, it wasn't something I could say that I always was like into or whatever the case may be, but I felt like even from a child I was always into nature, and I was always on some paying attention to nature when I was younger without even really realizing it. And maybe I'll go into some of that stuff maybe at another time about some of the things I was just doing as a kid and didn't even really know how magical it was until later seeing it and like, oh shit, like I was doing this as a kid. But I distinctly remember the first time that I consciously said that I was going to go talk to this tree. I'm walking through the woods. I was with a friend, we hiking, and we got to a point where it was this really old tree. And I sat down next to the tree, and I may have said something to the tree, like a little thing, like just something low, nothing deep, like, oh, hey, how's it going? I think I poured a little water on the tree. It was really old and looked like it was going to break. And like it didn't have much time soon. It just really was hanging on the edge. Meditated on the tree. There was a hole, a small little hole, and I'm focusing on that hole in the tree. I'm at this point just focusing on it and trying to see if I get any feedback, and I'm getting clear communication from the tree. Now understand, this ain't gonna be like a fairy tale type of thing. The tree's not gonna say, hi, I'm an oak tree, and you know, it ain't gonna be that kind of thing. But you'll start having things come to mind, or you'll start getting some kind of messages. You might even get a message, and spirit will talk to you in different ways. Like, don't get it twisted. Spirit will talk to you, and your ego will fucking talk to you just as well, in ways that will be like something come to mind. You start seeing signs around, physical signs. You start hearing things. A song will come on, things of that sort. So for me, I'm getting communication. I'm like, look, I'm getting put into the test. I was hearing some things. I'm not going to get into what I was hearing, but I was hearing some different things that it was telling me. This tree is talking some otherness. So then I went home and started looking up the information the tree was telling me, and it was accurate. It was like, well, this couldn't just be random, because I didn't know this prior. I didn't know this before this tree told me. And this is what I mean, though. You can meditate next to a tree, and the communication can be something. You can feel something in a sense of like, I've heard people say that they feel a tree say hug me, or feel a tree say, you know, give me some water, or something like that, or you know, certain things like that, whatever the case may be. But the tree gave me useful information, and that was the first time I really remember dealing with a tree. And it's crazy because my mom pulled out some pictures, and she had this picture of me like lined up with this tree, and it looked like the tree is coming up out of my head. I'm sitting on a bench as a kid, and the tree is in the back of me, but it looks like the way the tree is lined up, it's just like the tree is coming up out of my head. I'm like, that was fire. But the second time that I had a strong experience with a tree, and I don't want to even say the second time, because it was just another time that was really memorable. And this time, it wasn't just me experiencing this. I moved into this apartment, and this tree was behind the house, kind of to the side, in between the house, in between the back part of the house. And so it just looked like it had like an angry face on it. And you know, sometimes you see faces in the trees and things like that. It just had stuck on an angry face. And I'm like, oh shit, why is this tree so angry? So I'm talking to the tree. I'm like, yo, what you need? What's going on? What's popping? Why you looking so upset? You upset about this stuff? Because at this point, I'm living next to a bar. I'm living next to a chicken spot. I'm living next to a pizza shop. So I'm talking to the tree. I'm like, oh, what you need? So I'm not getting anything. I'm not feeling anything. I'm not hearing anything. But I'm just like, all right, you know, everybody say, you know, give a tree a little this and whatever the case may be. I forgot. And I think one time I put out some meat, tree still mad. Put out some liquors, tree still mad. Put out some water, tree still mad. All this stuff that people tell you to do in fairy books, I'm doing all this fairy stuff. Oh, put a little fairy statue and put some stones. The face just looked mad. It was one day I was drinking beer, and I got a strong feeling that the tree was like, yo, give me some of that beer. I gave that tree some beer, and then I gave the tree a piece of chicken. Let me tell you how that face went from angry to happy. And then from that moment on, it was like that tree just vibrated on a completely different. I wish I would have took pictures of it. I wish I would have took pictures of it because it wasn't even something I personally just experienced. People, because you know, when you in this kind of lifestyle, people will just assume, oh, you crazy, or oh, you lying, or oh, whatever the fuck it is. But understand, I wasn't even the only person that experienced this. We all seen the tree. Like, why that tree look so mad? Why that tree stuck on angry? My dude was there, saw it, was there that night when I gave him the beer and the chicken. Then I started getting communication. Then it was like, how basically because he's all these years this tree been growing there right next to this chicken spot, right next to this bar, and most of these people are drinking beer, most of these people are eating chicken, and all he could do is smell it or see people coming around, but he never really got it. Or maybe, so you know what I mean, it was something along those lines. I don't remember the full detail, but I remember it was something like, and it just blew my mind kind of a little bit like, wow, like, so, because to me it's an annoyance. I wasn't eating their chicken, and those people at the bar to me are annoying, so I just assumed it was annoying to him, to the tree. I'm saying him because it looked like a male face, but you know, I'm just assuming the same thing, and it wasn't even the case. He wanted it. He wanted some of the beer. He wanted some of the chicken. It's because he's around it, smelling it. I mean, that shit was crazy. And the angry face went away completely. It was like a smiling face. For a couple months, it was just a smiling face, and then the face just went away completely, and it just gave off a different vibe. And I just felt like it just came off like a very protective energy after that, because like the look of the tree just changed so much. The vibe of the tree just changed so much. It was just like, it went from like this, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you could just get a vibe from things. Like the tree just had a vibe, like it was unhappy and it wasn't really working with the air, working with the community, working with us, working with the household. Like it just seemed like it was like something was going on. But I ain't gonna stretch it. But yeah, true story, no bullshit on any of that. But yeah, I would say if you really want to get with some trees, I've heard all sorts of things. I heard people say smoke a cigar next to a tree. I've heard people say meditate next to a tree. I've heard people say, you know, you give it a little offering of something that's water. Meditate with the tree and see what it wants. If you feel drawn to a certain tree, because I've had trees that I go over there and see them all the time. I talk to them like they're my friends. I'll be like, yo, what's poppin'? Like these cedar tree, because I love the smell of cedar. I be talking to these trees and all this kind of stuff, meditating with the trees and all that kind of stuff. Then go there the next week, and it just be tons and tons of shavings that fell off the tree. I be looking at it like an offering, because I like the smell of cedar, so I burned cedar wood already in my stuff, and I use the wood in different things. I was there prior, and it was on thick, so nothing was coming off like that. And then to come back the next week after I'm meditating and get all those shavings to burn. I'm just telling you different examples. You know what I mean? I would suggest meditate next to the tree. Be careful with spiders. Understand it's still nature. Don't get it twisted, because it's sometimes, you know, especially in Florida, fucking forget about it. I'll be walking through the woods seeing some old arachnophobia shit. Like arachnophobia look like baby work compared to some of that shit I be seeing out here. Like, it's not even a joke. I be wanting to take a picture, but scared that might make that thing react. It's some wild boy shit I've seen out here. But yeah, meditate next to the trees. Put your hand on the tree, man. Talk to it. Give it some water. You know, just see what vibe it gives out to connect with the tree, and you know what I mean. See what it do for you. And really, honestly, when you work with trees, just the same way when you work with animals as totems, it's all connected. It's all connected. Whether you saying it's a flat Earth, that flat frequency runs across to the other side of whatever part of the earth you at, or the globe reaches to the other side of the globe, whatever views or whatever, it's all connected. When the animals pick up on other people who are animal lovers, it's just the same as spiritual workers of any type of thing. But if you work with animals on a spiritual level, animals can pick up on that energy. Just the same way trees can. You know what I mean? I've heard stories of people talking about trees not giving people oxygen, or trees making people sick and shit like that, because they were the type that was just always just abusive to nature for no reason. So I mean, meditate with them. See what